Well, on Queen Victoria's Day, a few of her poorer subjects scraped together a living selling stuff they found in sewers and on riverbanks.
They were called Mudlarks, these people, and believe it or not, they're still about. A kind of a breed of amateur archaeologists who give professionals plenty of amazing stuff to sift through.
Marty Jobson needed wellies and gloves for this assignment.
People have been living along the banks of the River Thames for thousands of years. It's always been a major transport route, but has also served another function for the residents of London, as its dustbin. For as long as people have been living here, the Thames has been a convenient place for them to dump their rubbish, empty their chamber pots, and lose their valuables. And if you have the access and the inclination to dig in its mud, well, you could solve some of the mysteries of the past. Steve Brooker makes his living as a window fitter, but all his spare time is spent as a mudlark, one of a band of unpaid enthusiasts named after the scavengers who used to make a living picking through the rubbish on the Thames. The work of these amateur archaeologists is constantly uncovering the hidden history of London. What's that little sort of tubey thing there? What's that?
Right, that's an 18th century pipe.
18th century pipe.
An 18th century pipe would be this long. So what the guys did, was they broke them off, and like Popeye, you'd work with the sack, and you'd be walking up the boat, with your Popeye pipe.
You must have your immune system is probably very good.
I've had the plague twice.
The reason mudlarks uncover so many well-preserved finds is because the Thames mud is very compacted. So this stuff comes out as good as it went in because there's no oxygen, so it's a bit like, I don't know, vacuum packing. So can anybody just come down here with a spade, dig a hole, start pulling stuff out of the ground?
No, that's something that's very important about what we're doing today, The north side of the Thames is highly protected, and it's only mudlarks that can actually come down here. On the south side, you can actually get a permit from the PLA, and you can go and try this on the south side. Admittedly, you can't dig, but the north side is highly protected. That's a boar's tusk. There's places down on the Thames where the Romans were. The Romans loved their boar. Of course, we love that boar.
Got a wild boar.
Side of the face itself.
Yeah.
But that could be 2,000 years old, and because it's been kept in that mud,
it hasn't disintegrated.
It stayed the same.
Amazing. You could become quite obsessed, couldn't you? It's
addictive because you just don't know what's going to come out next.
In our 3 hours digging between the tides, we uncovered finds spanning almost 2,000 years of everyday London life. So this is our haul for the day. So we've got everything really from potentially Roman artefacts.
2,000 years old.
Norman, and this...
Bellarmine
type of pottery jug.
It's a salt glazed jug. Probably, I don't know, 1600, 1650 on him.
Crikey. World War II stuff.
Yep.
And even, I found this. What do you think?
Probably from the pub up there.
Quite recent then?
Yeah, very recent.
Whatever the apparent importance of the find, it needs to be reported to the Museum of London under the terms of the Mudlark's licence issued by the Port of London Authority. The Mudlarks have been working with the museum since 1976. You could think of their work along the foreshore of the Thames as the longest running archaeological dig in London's history. They've brought in everything from Roman shoes to Elizabethan daggers, but most curiously, 1,000 miniature metal household objects. Many were lost toys academics thought not to exist. With every find arriving at the museum, Hazel Forsyth, a senior curator, witnessed history being rewritten. Hazel, how have the Mudlarks finds changed our view of history then?
Well, I think they've made a really significant difference to our understanding of the past. And a classic instance of that is our understanding of the nature of childhood. We now know that there was a mass market in producing toys.
So up until then, academics didn't believe that children maybe had sort of time for play, but now we know that wasn't the case.
We have the concrete evidence for it.
It's amazing to think that these tiny little toys fell out of a child's pocket centuries ago, only to be found by an amateur working with a metal detector and gut instinct. With over 200 kilometres of shore along the Thames tidal reach, who knows what the Mudlarks will uncover next?
Steve the Mudlark is here. Have you had a wash? You are sitting next to a Duchess, Steve.
Oh no, I've dressed up for it.
Do you think this thing is all right for you?
I was sort of worrying that, you know, you don't actually smell.
I do actually smell. If you get close, I do smell.
Now, look at this here. I've never seen one in the flesh, so to speak. Where did you find this ball and chain?
This was actually found at Salt Wharf, and this has been researched for the last year, and they've just found out that this is a... it's about 1750, it's German, and it's for just taking prisoners around. But it's a one-off, there is no other type, and the way they've actually aged that is by the actual barrel lock on it.
Incredible stuff.
Kind of scary, isn't it? Yeah, but this is like a treasure chest of stuff here. They
did a lot of smoking, didn't they? I mean, how many pipes have you found?
They're in abundance down there. If you can imagine, there was 3,000 stevedores there, and everybody smoked. Yeah. And you also, you know, if you see the lengths of some of these things, if you've got a guy that's actually working and he's moving around sort of thing, they used to snap them off and just have like a Popeye pipe.
So have you come across anything
look at that pot.
Sinister in your time, Steve? Anything that's kind of...
Yeah, I've had a couple of bodies, I've had skulls, bones, bits and pieces.
Got a face on that one.
Yeah, this is Cardinal Bellarmine. Now, this is a Bible basher that he tried to actually ban booze. But the good thing about these were actually used as witch pots. So he used to urinate in these.
Lovely.
Yeah. Do you want me to hold it now? Yeah. So he used to, clean. So he used to urinate in these, fill these up with pins.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't say urinate again, you've said it twice.
It's hard to get it out.
Third time, yeah.
And,
He's doing polish for the Duchess.
fingernails.
What, fingernails in the urination?
In the urination, yeah. You'd have a felt heart. You'd have belly button fluff. In 2004, one actually came out whole with a lid on it, and they took it out, and there was belly button fluff in there.
Steve,
that's
you know
certainly
what?
a keeper.
I'm going to get you a pair of wellies, Sarah, and I'm going to send you down with Steve and go mudlarking. What do you think?
I don't mind slumming it if you want to come down.
Lovely.
But did it keep witches away then after going to all that?
Yeah, it actually deferred the spell.
Did it?
Because you think, everybody, if your dog died, if you were sick, it wasn't because you were sick or your dog died because of old age. It was all to do with witchcraft. Anne Boleyn had 6 fingers and a mole on her neck, so they thought she was a witch.
Really, yeah.
Just quickly, this skull, this poor little mite here, 12 years old, you think this was from the plague you found this one?
Yeah, she's come up recently within the last couple of weeks, and she's a 12-year-old. She's going to be carbon dated, but she's quite special because her jaw on the bottom is intact. But 2 weeks later, on the other side of the Thames, another one popped up, and a bunch of guys from the pub took it home and stuck it in their lounge.
Right. Don't do that if you find
No,
it.
Don't do that.
Don't.
If you find anything, leave it in situ.
Right.
Thank you very much, Steve. That's really
I
fascinating.
suppose that's like throwing a fag end down, is it?
Yes, it is.
It is exactly that, yeah. Loads of them.
Help yourself if you want to off on the way home.
And just very quickly, you'll be able to see that at Docklands. It goes on in an exhibition at the Docklands.
All right, thank you, Steve. Well, earlier in celebration